that time of the month already for a gory experience, and trust me, I'm not talking about this one. And although, put away the heavy-duty DIY, kill yourselves, this depressing kind of drinks that you're going to be needing for this chapter, because, trust me, this is a more the very somber, very happy chapter. And I want to talk about it because this chapter, like a lot of chapters that we've been getting of Berserk, has just been really emotional on a level for Guts. And especially, I could even say this, like, the death of the once feared Black Swordsman is finally here at night, and, like, what Guts has done in this chapter, finally admitting stuff to him and all that, was definitely, it really hit here and all that. And I'm going to explain why, especially, like, Guts stole this chapter, and it had nothing to do with any of the stuff that's happening with Casca, whether she's going to return to Northall, or with Farnese and Serpico. Like, let's just get into it, because I am really goddamn excited to talk about everything that is involving with going on in 349. So I definitely enjoy for the fact that everyone is getting drunk at this time. Like, even each other, like, who is practically a kid, I'm pretty sure he's either just, like, getting drunk alongside or just in the atmosphere he's there. And he's, like, there, like, telling the tales of these, like, all these, like, witches and wizards. And it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, I was running there and there was ghosts and ghouls everywhere. And 'twas this salamander dagger that's, like, dealt with the coup de grace. Like, he's, like, there enjoying it. I'm like, Isidro, you piece of shit, I love you. Like, you're just there getting into it. You get to see as well, like, the meadow as well, she's there, like, enjoying herself. She's getting drunk. Everyone is getting completely shit-faced. This is one of the rare times that we ever get to see this crew do anything like this, where they just enjoy themselves and they're telling tales of their adventures. And then you get to see this panel of just Guts staring into, like, all the petals falling down upon him, and you get to see the captain of the ship alongside with Serpico, like, just there, and he's like, you know, let's talk, let's have a sit down. And this is the thing, you never get these moments, like, at all in Berserk, like, near, like, the 300 plus chapter, you never really get these times where, hey, let's just talk and enjoy, like, you know, all these characters, especially, like, Guts and everyone, have gone through so much, and it was just like, I know how you feel, Guts. You're staring, you're wondering what's going to happen, like, after all this, coming all this way on your journey, and it's like, you know, there's nothing you can do, and the fact is, like, Guts knows this. Guts knows he can't do anything. This is the one time he's had to admit, like, he's completely powerless in this situation. But when Guts, like, is generally talking to, like, to Serpico and the captain, and he's having this moment saying, you know, a lot has changed, and I've realized a lot as I've been on this trip. Like, as I've been going, you know, when I was on my own, it was just my life. I could use it how I'd like please. I could get cut to ribbons. It didn't fucking matter. But when I saw, you know, Casca, I had to take care of her. When there's two people, I grew weary. My blade growed heavy. Fighting like death doesn't concern you becomes a long thing in the past. It's no longer just you're thinking of. You can't go wild. You have to control it. And he threw away that, like, his way of life after, like, relying on the strength of, like, other people around him. And just, like, it pushed him on to continue being on this journey. And just Guts just being, like, humble. Like, where you never see that, the Guts at all. Where you see, like, how he was with Puck, like, how he evolved from just being this asshole, like, hey, help out, you piece of shit, to, like, meeting, you know, fine Neeson of the crew, and, like, all these guys that he's gone on this journey, and he's just, like, when Guts is there, like, smiling and just saying, I'm grateful, thank you, I'm grateful for everything. And, like, I kind of liked, like, already that, like, people, like, you know, kind of making light of the situation, like, so, because, like, you know, hearing such, you know, things from you of all people, Guts, you must be getting a little bit drunk right now. And it's just, like, getting tipsy, and, like, just how Guts is just, like, you know, he's, like, dude, I can imagine it, like, in an anime format or something, or it's just, like, where he's, like, his voice actor's just, like, having a little bit of a chuckle going, yeah, you know, like, could be, I don't know, man, like, and when Serpico is the same way, where he's, like, I've had a similar experience, and things have changed on this trip, you know, being with Farnese, we left everything in the hands of God and so lived in peace, and we obediently carried out the will of the Holy See, and all, you know, was well. I can't say any of us was happy, but it suited Farnese at the time, and I'd do anything for her. And then you came along, everything I once knew turned to ash. Like, Farnese became obsessed with you. She lost her faith, and she wanted to, you know, go after you. And he's like, I've served that girl since her childhood, and I could hardly approach her. But you did something that was, like, impossible. you gave new life into her. Like, you know, this is the first time that, you know, I see, you know, like, Far East, like, finally standing on her own. She's her own woman. She's finally, like, not needing, like, you know, to rely on herself, not make excuses. She's trying to be, like, her own person. And it's like, you know, the thing that made, like, you know, her stronger was Casca. It's what I liked about that, where, like, Serpico is talking about the bonds that they've had. Like, we finally can have faith in a way where we're, like, we can think about ourselves, and it's like, you know, and he's like even saying, as for me opening up to my fellow travelers like this has changed, you know. He's like, I keep shit to myself, you know, like, a lot of the time you don't see what I'm trying to think, but, like, you know, maybe this is the drink that's talking, you know, open up about, like, homicidal intentions that I had against you, and, like, even the captain's just like, you know what, you guys, are, you're both grown men, you know what you want, I appreciate that, and that's exactly why, you know, like, you dragged your asses across the sea for, like, you know, a woman and all that, that's up my cup of tea, and just the fact that he's like, I want to go down in a way, drowning at sea in women or, like, or wine. That's, like, you know, that's how I want to go down. And, like, even just the fact these guys are laughing and enjoying themselves and all that, you know, the one thing that was interesting where, like, he thought about it, where he, like, and even as well, like, you know, as he rethinks to what, like, Skull Knight said to him, like, all that time ago, saying, like, more than anything, you know, there's no guarantee at all, you know, like, your wish will be her wishes, guys. Like, do you not know what she wants? You may want her back to normal, but does Casca really want that with all, like, the bad memory, the hell that she's been gone through? Like, not just talking about the eclipse, but how you've treated her, you've abandoned her. Like, this is the thing where Guts, at all, is not this perfect human being. He never will be. I mean, he started off the fucking manga raping a demon, like, for the most part. Like, the guy even admitted his, like, this was the wrong path for me to take. For me just to take out my anger, I disappeared for years just doing this, and it's like, oh, where's Casca? He's like, he was doing it through himself, and how he's grown from this. It's fucking fascinating, and I'm like, and I'm really glad, like, when I see, like, comments, and I see people talking about this stuff, and either agree, or see, you know, like, how Guts has changed. Like, and, like, where a lot of people, you know, I'm sure, like, a lot of people want, they love Guts because he's the Black Swordsman, because he's that crazy monster, the Berserker armor. You know, you see them say, I love the insane, like, crazy shit that happens. Like, when the action gets going, it gets going. But when you have really fucking solid writing, and, like, even as well, a lot of this you could tell, not by words, but I feel like what meant a lot more to this chapter is that you could have seen, like, the same thing. You'd be like, well, we kind of knew this already, that Guts has changed. But the fact that he's admitting it to fucking Serpico of all fucking people, who he's always had this fucking hate rivalry, like, towards, like, and funny now it's kind of like, we're comrades, I'll watch your back, you know, watch mine. And even as well with the captain, which, to be fair, like, even though it's been years and years since, like, you know, since the manga has been going, since we've known these two characters, their time together as, like, you know, actual characters, like, who have met each other, has probably been that of maybe a couple of months at best at sea, where, like, they've probably grown, and, like, Guts is owning up to someone that he doesn't truly fully know like that. So it's interesting, like, Guts is now being open, and that's why I will generally say that, you know, this is, like, in a way, the death of the Black Swordsman. This is, like, him finally going. That is a nickname a lot of people like, this fearsome warrior. And that warrior, it still exists. That strength of the Black Swordsman exists, but now that he's changed, there's a lot more different. And then it makes me wonder now, when he ever puts in the Berserker out, that makes him go out with this newfound, like, resolution, I would call, to, like, Guts. Is this something where he'd be able to control it now? Would he not initially, like, to control it? Like, he no longer, like, I feel like, unless there's, like, something happens to him, he's no longer clinging to anger. Anger no longer steals his blade. He's more controlled than it is, even though he's a fucking brick shithouse of a man, and I love that for Guts. And, like, I love both sides of Guts, but it was such a fascinating chapter, and it's like, it's weird how that was half of the chapter, and that was practically the first part of it, and it's my favorite part of it. And I'm not even, you know, bashing the whole stuff with, like, Farnies and shitty. That's still some interesting stuff that we're getting there, as with their side of the story, is that they're still following up on the Pels that we saw from last chapter, and what they found was a fireplace, where it was like, you know, what's going on? You know, why is there a camp here? And when they get to see, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit emotional seeing this, just the guy again. Like, you got to see old Golden Age guts just there. Like, it's like, let's look at this campfire. And this is how Casca pretty much envisions him as he turns around and he's got a smile on his face saying like, yeah, you sound like a princess and all that, you smooth okay like that. And it's just like, this is an interesting thing for Thani situation. It's like, this is the first time we've met like a guts like this. Like, we've seen him mainly change, but like how he didn't used to just be a pretty much a dick, a monster for the most part. Like, he used to be someone that had his own things like going on. In fact, it's like, you know, we just found like this shard right here, like on the ground, and like the dog itself, the actual black canine, the real, like, if anything, the representation of like the black swordsman inside, goes and opens the coffin, you know, asking for the help of Phineas to open it up. You see the little pick me like Casca, and he puts a piece of like, you know, Casca back together again. And it's like, you know, we gotta gather the pieces of Casca's memory throughout the entire wasteland, and like, you know, so that the doll is mended. But they're gonna have a problem where it's like they're finding it, they're repairing pieces and pieces of it, and it's like, you know, guess what? Those shadowy creatures that were attacking like guts in that point in this whole dreamland, he had like, you know, they're coming back and they need to defend themselves, and she's like using the power of like the dream world itself, and it's just like, I've got to use my dolls, I've got to use my clay dolls, I've got to use my power, and it's just like, you know, lend me your strength and all that. Both of you is this like giant, like kind of like massive, like whole like power of like this golem, and also as well like this massive, like, I wouldn't even just like describe it as just a vortex for the most part of what they summon. So like, I goddamn like legit love this chapter. I really did, because we are getting progression. We know the fact that they need to do to repair Casca, but we don't know the answer of, are all the pieces still here? Are they just so, is she so broken beyond like imagination? And like, how long are they going to be repairing her for? Like, you know, like, is this going to be going on for like, you know, an entire year or so of worth of chapters? I know this could be like, you know, about 18 months that we could find out whether or not she's healed. It depends how long, you know, Miura wants to take the spacing, because like I said, this is a big moment for Berserk, and it's a big moment for Casca, whether or not she's going to return. But like I said, I love that second part of the chapter. But the first part really fucking hit me. Like, just seeing a bunch of, like, the growth of guts meant a lot to me, and I absolutely loved that part of the chapter, and I had full respect for it. Like, a lot of the time, I praise, like, Berserk a lot of the times and all that, and I know I'm very weak to this series, since I am, like, a huge fan of it. I absolutely adore it, so sometimes I can, like, you know, like, just glaze over, like, maybe a flaw or two and all that, but generally when it's, like, stuff, like, involving guts and he's growing, I can't help but see it, like, as a boy, like as a young boy, he never had a chance to have a child. He never had any of this stuff. He was growing from battle, and seeing like this man, like this person that never had such a chance to really grow on like people other than just the fight. He's now finding other things and all that that's keeping him stable to the earth, and I love that. So let me know what you guys thought about the chapter down below. That is all from me. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.